they now enter into the cerebellum. They enter into the cerebellum. And which part of the cerebellum they end? They end into the, or they relay into the flocculonodular lobe. Flocculonodular lobe. This flocculonodular lobe, we know it lies in the vermis part of the cerebellum. And what is the function? To maintain the equilibrium or the posture. Maintenance of the human body is responsible for it. So they reach the flocculonodular lobe of the vermis part and they relay into them. So when they reach the cerebellum, now cerebellum knows that in which position the joints of the lower limb are there. So this is the course and the journey of the anterior spinocerebellar fibers. Now we go to the posterior one. As we know, the posterior one, they are also entering, carrying the same sensations, but they are not crossing. They remain on the same side, ipsilateral, and they ascend on the posterior spinocerebellar upward. They also want to reach the cerebellum. So the posterior one, they also ascend upward and they go through the inferior cerebellar peduncle. And from the inferior cerebellar peduncle, they enter into the flocculonodular lobe of the cerebellum of the same side. So they also reach, but they pass through the inferior cerebellar peduncle, while the anterior fibers, they have to pass through the superior cerebellum. So their termination is different. One is crossed, other is uncrossed. One is passing through the inferior cerebellar peduncle, and other is passing through the superior cerebellar peduncle. So this is the difference you have to remember. Two differences are there. So this is how in the third order neuron, so in order to understand the third order neuron, first we have to go to the cerebellum. Now what is the function of the cerebellum? Why these tracts, they are essential? Why the cerebellum? We know the other than the cerebrum is the conscious level of the brain. All other parts of the brain, they are unconscious or subconscious level. Whatever they are receiving and they are going afferent and efferent, we doesn't know. But what the cerebrum is doing, that is the conscious level. We know what is afferent and what is efferent. So that is the difference. Now cerebellum has got three functions. Number one is the coordination of the muscular voluntary movements. Second function is to maintain the posture or the equilibrium of the human body. And third is to maintain the tone of the muscle. So there are so many functions of the cerebellum, but you have to remember these three functions. Number one, and the sequence is very important. First most important function you have to say, number one, coordination of voluntary skeletal muscle movements. Number two is the posture maintenance. Third is the tone of the muscle. What is the posture? Now I am standing because of cerebellum, and you are sitting because of the cerebellum. If the cerebellum is destroyed or damaged, then I will fall. Or if you are sitting, you also will fall. You can't maintain the sitting posture. So posture maintenance is the main function of the cerebellum. So for that, the cerebellum requires the knowledge of the joints of the lower limb. When we are walking, when we are standing. So this information reaches the cerebellum each and every moment, each and every second. But we do not know, because this is unconscious level cerebellum function. We doesn't know. So the third order neurons, they start from the vermis. And from the vermis, they go to the lateral part of the medulla and pons. Now we know that in the floor of the fourth ventricle there is present this lateral area, both the sides. What is this area called? This area is called vestibular area. So vestibular area means it is concerned or it is connected with the a cranial nerve whose name is vestibulocochlear nerve, the auditory nerve. And the vestibular word comes from the vestibule, and vestibule is present in the bony labyrinth and the membranous labyrinth of the internal ear, which is situated in the pitras part of our temporal bone. And more specifically, they are present with the concern with the three semicircular canals, if you remember the internal ear structure. And they are filled with the endolymph. So there is two are horizontal and one is vertical. So two are horizontal and one is vertical in position, that is the semicircular canal to the vestibule of the internal ear. And they are filled with the fluid that is called the endolymph. So this is called the vestibular area. So they are present both the sides. So whenever a person falls anteriorly or posteriorly or right or left, so whenever we changes, what happens? The position of the head first of all changes. And when the head changes, then these semicircular canals, they are also obliquely. And we know these semicircular canals, the ends, they are connected with the nerves. And this nerve is vestibular nerve. So this vestibular nerve, when we start falling, this information of tilting of the head anteriorly, if we fall anteriorly and posteriorly, then the vertical semicircular canal will change, the endolymph. And this information from the vestibulocochlear nerve will go and give into the vestibular area. Now vestibular area is a very large area. If we take the dissection, we will see under this vestibular area there lies 4 vestibular nuclei. So now information of falling of the person reaches the brain. Which part of the brain? Pons and medulla in the vestibular area or vestibular nuclear complex. And this information of falling the person will go through the inferior cerebellar peduncle to the cerebellum and relay here. So immediately the vestibular area will give the information that person is falling on the right, left or anterior, posterior to the cerebellum, flocculonodular lobe. Because why? Because cerebellum has taken the responsibility to maintain the posture or the equilibrium. So this information reaches the cerebellum. Now cerebellum through the vestibulocerebellar afferent fibers. It will give immediately instruction to the vestibular area again through the efferent, which is called cerebellovestibular fibers. So this immediately information goes to this. And now we know the vestibular area, this information of falling the person will go down and it goes into spinal cord. This information goes in the spinal cord through the vestibulospinal tract. And from the vestibulospinal tract, which is situated somewhere here, this information goes to the anterior horn cells, the motor cells. And the motor cells, because of the connection to the opposite side, the interneurons, this information is the posterior horn, and from here, this information reaches through the motor root of the spinal nerves. So this information goes to the opposite side of the muscles of the lower limb and muscles of the trunk. They immediately contract and we become straight. So this is how cerebellum works. So connection between the vestibular area, spinal cord and cerebellum. So this connection you should know. That how cerebellum works. If these cerebellar tracts they are destroyed, cerebellum doesn't know that in which position the knee joint or hip joint is there, or person is falling or not falling. So cerebellum requires each and every second the position of the joints of the body. So this is what is the function of the spinocerebellar fibers. If this tract is destroyed or damaged, then what will happen? Or in other words, what is the applied? You will write about this. In the applied anatomy, if these two tracts they are destroyed, or there is a injury of the spinal cord from the lateral side, any bullet injury or any knife stab injury, or a person falls and there is a fracture of the vertebra, so anything can damage here. So damaging of the lateral part of the peripheral, because these two tracts they are lying at the periphery very superficially, so they are damaged, and damage will lead to the problem of the patient. So how the patient will come? What will be the problem to the patient? Now the patient will come with because here cerebellum is involved. Now cerebellum is not getting the knowledge of the joints of the lower limb. So now first is the ataxia. Ataxia means patient can't walk on a straight line. He will walk like a drunken man, because now there is no coordination of both the lower limb muscles and the muscles of the trunk. So person is falling like this because the function of cerebellum is 0. So ataxic gait will be there and patient will fall because now posture maintenance is lost, equilibrium is absent. So patient cannot walk and he will ultimately fall. So this is how the person of the damaged spinocerebellar tract or the fibers will show the problem of the movement, that is the ataxia. And other related structures of the damage of the lateral column, peripheral part of these two spinocerebellar tracts. That's all. Thank you.